I'm Whitney Nicely. I run a free Facebook group that people all around the world join when they want to know more about real estate investing. And on Wednesdays, we do a special presentation called Ask Whit Wednesday. That's what you're about to see. Hello, everybody. Hang on, I left my notes over here with the questions. I have a ton, 2 pages of questions today. So we have got a lot to cover. A couple things that we're going to talk about is once I find a house, how do I contact the owner? What if it's in an LLC's name? Do I keep going? Are there any books for lease options? What price range of house should I be looking at? Once the tenant buyer's in the house and they leave in 3 months, what happens to the payments? Are we under a legal obligation to keep making the payments? What's the difference between a lease option and an assignment? How much credit in the non-refundable option fee goes towards the purchase price? Would I get more mortgages if people were forced into credit repair? How does land make money? Do I need a license? If I have a license, do I tell people that I have a license? Should I follow leads that are not in my market? How do I find sellers? Do I need a CRM? How do you evict someone who doesn't pay their lease and claims equitable title? And I'd like your program. Where's the link? Oh, we got a lot to talk about today, guys. So if any of these questions were your questions, I will get to them. Jason will be with me in just a couple minutes. He had to go get me a drink of water. And we'll answer all of them the best we can, as quickly as we can. I've got a hard stop at 2, and we'll pick up where we left off. All right, so let's buzz through these as quickly as we can. All right, let's say that you find a house and it's empty and there's not a phone number, there's not a for sale by owner sign in the front yard that says real easily, here, call me, right? Well, there's lots of different ways that we can find the owner. One thing that I suggest is if you're driving for dollars and you find an empty house, get out and put a yellow letter on the door. Tape it to the door, tape it to the car that's there. Get out of your car, as long as you're in a safe neighborhood, of course. One thing about getting out and putting something on the house that says, hey, I want to buy this, call me, is if the sellers happen to drive by, they may see that there's a note and they may get it. Also, though, if you're out of your car and you're putting a note on the house that says, hey, I want to buy this, some neighbors, some nosy neighbors might see that you want to, thanks, Ben, that you are trying to find out where the seller is. Driving for dollars is awesome, especially if you can talk to some of the neighbors and say, hey, what's the deal with that house? Do you have the seller's phone number? Are you Facebook friends with them? How can I get in contact with the seller? I'd really like to buy their house. All right. All of that will help you get towards a phone number. You can write down the address, and then when you get home, you can look at them with tax rolls and send them a letter. You can do that. You can send, if the house is here and there's a neighbor on each side, there's a house across the street, and there's 2 neighbors on that side, you could send a letter to all 6 of those houses that says, hey, I want to buy 123 Main Street. Do you have anybody's information? All right. You can get super nosy, and you can, once you look up the tax roll and you see that Susie Smith owns it, you can try to find Susie Smith on Facebook. Good luck finding Susie Smith. But you might have a good, kind of weird name, and you could find them on Facebook. There's lots of different ways. You could use a skip trace program. I don't. I do things pretty old and slow and regular, and I would send letters to all the neighbors before I would hire a skip trace program. Okay, do you want to sit down?